Hey guys, what's up? We're back. It's another Wakeskate Wednesday. I'm super excited today because we're going to be going through one of the tricks that really got me hooked on wakeskating, and that is the backside pop shove it, or back shove, or backside shove it as we like to call it. Super fun trick, probably just one that is the basis for so many other tricks, from your three shoves, your back pegs, all the way up to varial flips and all the other wonderful things you do on a wakeskate. Yeah, before breaking down this trick or going into this trick, I think you should just make sure you've got your ollies down, basic understanding of the handle, and yeah, maybe a couple frontside 180s and that kind of stuff before you actually start leaving the board. But yeah, if you've skateboarded before, you'll probably find this trick a lot easier to get. If you haven't, no worries. So step one, let's break it down. Foot positioning. Now you'll see here in the video, my feet are my front foot's a little bit further down from where we would normally put it in an ollie position. And my front foot's kind of ducked out a little bit, and you'll see my back foot is on the tail, but a little bit towards the toe side edge. I do this, it comes from skating, that's where I would kind of set up my feet, but I found that is kind of where you can get a good solid scoop from. If you got your feet in that position, the board scoops nice and level and you can catch it. Sorry, thought there was a car coming. Yeah, the reason we do that is just because you are scooping the back shove from your toe side. It doesn't hurt to have that little bit of weight on your toes to really get that board out in front of you and scoop it. Okay, step number two, you're going to edge out and once again flatten off. Before any flat trick, flattening off is such a big thing, and when I say flatten off, it means coming off of your edge. So you're going from your heel side, flattening off and riding flat, riding the board flat. I would suggest doing this trick on your heel side for the first few times. Same principle, I just think it's easier to balance, same as we do with an ollie. Yeah, if you guys feel like you want to do it on your toe side, there's nothing wrong with that. But once you've edged out, you flatten off, your feet are in the right position, you got to make sure your handle's in a good position too. You don't want that handle too far out. We did the tutorial on handle control last week. If you want to figure out more on where the rope should be, go check that out. But have a look here where the handle is just before I pop. That is really important because that's where all my balance is coming from. Then now getting into the actual spinning of the trick and everything happening. It's a good balance between popping and scooping. You don't want to pop the trick, popping being when you ollie, scooping being actually moving your foot out. We'll go through the pop first. Pop is very similar to an ollie on that back foot, except this time when you pop, you're going to start getting ready to initiate the scoop, which comes afterwards. So remember, pop, then scoop. You don't want to be scooping before you pop, otherwise you might find the board starts falling over or hitting the water first and you're not actually getting the board out. So make sure you pop, and then you'll see the scoop, and you'll see here my back leg flicks out behind me and my front foot comes across at the same time. So kind of doing this motion, and that's what you want on this back shove, is that feeling of your feet almost changing over. That's what's going to give it that rotation and that that the movement, which essentially is what the trick is. A couple tips if you are struggling on getting the rotation. Sometimes moving your front foot a little bit further down the board makes it spin faster. It does make it pop a little bit less and maybe sometimes a little bit harder to control, but mess around with that foot position to see how it feels. Often that can actually just be the problem in a trick, is where your feet are. But make sure you're still comfortable when you're doing it. You don't want to be popping off balance. Then once the board starts to rotate, you're going to suck your legs up and you're going to let it rotate underneath you. You don't want to be scooping and catching at the same time. You want that board, you want to be able to give that board that little bit of time while it's rotating before you actually catch it and stomp it down. So scoop, let it spin, then slowly, once you've lifted your knees up and you've felt the board spin underneath your feet, this is when you're going to bring your legs down nice and wide. You don't want to be landing with your feet super close together. That puts you off balance and you don't have as much control. So as soon as that board starts coming around to 90, you're going to want to start spreading your legs and getting to catch it and control it and bringing it down. Almost refer to this as like a point of control. Whenever that board's at 90 in wakeskating, that's generally when you can catch it and manipulate it to where you need it to be. Obviously, later on in your career, this will become a lot more refined, but if you can get into the habit early of catching that board almost at 90 or 270, depending on what you're doing, and floating it down, it'll really benefit you in the long run. So yeah, at this point of control, catch it, spread your legs nice and wide, float it nice and down, land again, knees bent, your chest over the board. Remember, the wakeskate is super slippery. You might find that you are falling on the landing a lot, and Sometimes the falling on the landing isn't even actually the landing's the problem. It can just be that you shove into early, that you're not on balance when you take off. All those small things in the beginning can affect your landing. So if you feel like you're landing, you might feel like you're really close to landing it, but actually your mistake isn't only on the landing. So if you're in control and you've spread your legs nice and wide and you're coming down, the only thing you should be really worrying about is bending your knees and landing over your board. Anything else, if you feel like you're landing on the nose or you're landing on the tail or it's not rotating, are probably problems caused by either your scoop or your pop, or you're not flattening off. So keep that in mind when learning this trick. You don't want to try overcompensate on the landing when your mistake is actually a little bit further back in the trick. But then yeah, you've got your first back shove. This trick for me was the one that got me hooked on the sport. That's why I'm so excited to bring it to you guys. And I think, yeah, hopefully you guys will smash it out. Once you've done this, you can start doing them with kickers, you can start doing them with rails, you can you'll have a whole repertoire to learn from. Then next you can do 3 shoves, and it's kind of endless. So yeah, thank you so much guys. Again, it's another Wakeskate Wednesday, another tutorial, another trick in the bag for you. And yeah, keep in tune for next week. We've got some big news coming up in the next few tutorials about where we're going to be doing stuff, so really excited for it to come up. See you guys next week.